It was Sunday afternoon in Arkansas. Traffic was light, skies were clear, and trooper eyes were locked on the open stretch of US 412. Then, out of nowhere, a white Honda CBR 600 sliced through the radar at 90 miles per hour in a 65 zone. The trooper flipped around to make the stop, but before he could even catch up, that bike had already vanished into the horizon. For a few minutes, it seemed like the rider had escaped, but not for long. Moments later, the same bike reappeared, and when the rider realized he'd been spotted again, he made the same mistake so many others do. He hit the throttle.
We're past the Holiday Road, coming up to north. Westbound, sir. Westbound to Butterfield Coach.
Honda hit 140 miles per hour, weaving through cars, blowing through red lights, and even driving the wrong way into oncoming traffic. Think about that, 140 miles per hour into vehicles coming straight at you.
Just past Old Missouri Road. Turning on to turn around. 35, they just turned left there.
We're still south on turn. He missed the turn right here. William Edward 244.
We copied William.
And here's a perfect example of why they say that you can't outrun the radio. Once the suspect turned back, troopers were already waiting for him. With good communication, backup units blocked the road ahead, giving him every chance to stop. But instead of slowing down, he made the kind of decision that only makes sense at 100 miles per hour. He actually thought he could break through.
He's down, he's down.
Troopers rushed in immediately, rendering aid before paramedics arrived. The suspect was identified as Jimmy Townsend, and remarkably, he survived. After being treated at Washington Regional Medical Center, Townsend was transported straight to the Washington County Detention Center, where his wild stunt officially ended. Here's the real question, though. What was the plan? You're not outrunning a radio, and you're definitely not surviving 140 miles per hour for long. Townsend found that out the hard way. This chase starts off like something straight out of a bad TikTok stunt. A young rider with no tag, no fear, and apparently no respect for the law. On September 21st, 2022, a Forsyth County deputy tried pulling over a black motorcycle, but instead of stopping, the biker threw up a middle finger and took off. Now, Forsyth deputies couldn't chase him due to policy, but that's when Georgia State Patrol entered the chat. Trooper Matthews spotted the same black bike flying down Ronald Reagan Boulevard, pulled in behind, and what did the kid do? An illegal U-turn on a red arrow before taking off again.
No 28s. McGinnis Ferry, Union Hill.
The chase weaved through dark roads, with the biker trying to outsmart troopers who were already 2 steps ahead. Matthews tried boxing him in, and then, as the suspect veered into a gravel lot, the universe decided it was time for karma to kick in.
All right, turning down the side street into a storage lot. Towards the storage lot. 1050, 1050. Get on the ground! Get on the ground right now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground, man! Get on the ground, man! Hell's wrong with you? Get your hands behind your back! Get them behind your back!
And here's the kicker. The suspect, 17-year-old Jacob Assendorf, had no license, no tag, and no sense of fear. When questioned, he bragged that this wasn't his first chase, and even said he'd do it again. Imagine being that confident after crashing in front of an entire police department. His record now? A long list of citations, 1 arrest warrant, and a damaged ego. Assendorf was taken to the hospital for minor injuries, then straight to jail. The same bike he used to taunt police all week got towed away, maybe for good this time. So, here's a question for you. Do you think 17-year-olds who repeatedly flee police should face adult-level charges, or should the system give them another shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments. When you mix 4 speeding motorcycles, open highway, and an Arkansas state trooper, you already know this isn't going to end with a friendly warning. It was October 25th, 2024, and Corporal Taylor Elkins had just spotted a pack of bikers tearing down Interstate 49 at over 90 miles per hour. Moments later, Trooper Walker picked up one of them, a lone rider who apparently mistook the interstate for a racetrack. Now, at what point do you realize the flashing blue lights behind you aren't going away? Because this guy apparently never got that memo. As soon as the trooper pulled in behind him, the biker, later identified as Gabriel Medina Garcia, hit the gas, blew through a red light, and launched into full need for speed mode.
1037.
Copy 1037, right, all units 1063.
He weaved across all 3 lanes, pushing over 130 miles per hour, dodging cars, trucks, and every ounce of common sense along the way. He even tried a few creative routes, exiting the interstate, running more red lights, then jumping back on like it was some kind of GTA side mission.
Taking 83.
He's gonna stay going down to 8.
When he finally exited again onto Walnut Street, the chase went from reckless to ridiculous. Medina Garcia drove into oncoming lanes, head-on with traffic, trying to lose the trooper while barely holding control of his bike. At one point, he even clipped the trooper's patrol car, like that was going to help his case, and kept running. But that's when Trooper Walker had enough.
Get on the ground now. Hands up. Hands up. Roll over. Roll over now. You're going to roll over. I'll do it for you. Roll over.
Medina Garcia tried to resist arrest at first, but that didn't last long. A few firm commands later, he was on the ground and in handcuffs. No hospital trip, just a quick ride straight to Washington County Detention Center. He was hit with a laundry list of charges, including felony fleeing, reckless driving, speeding, failure to yield, and even no motorcycle endorsement. Basically, if it was illegal, he did it. Now here's something to think about. This chase hit speeds of 130 miles per hour. The fastest recorded human on foot runs around 27 miles per hour, meaning in the time it takes you to tie your shoe, this guy was already halfway through another bad decision. It started like any other routine patrol in Texarkana, Arkansas. On January 17, 2023, a trooper spots a motorcycle with a spray-painted license plate and no eye protection. Now, when someone's already trying to hide their plate before the stop even begins, you know where this is going. The trooper flipped on his lights, expecting a simple pullover. Instead, the rider turned his head, locked eyes for a split second, and hit the throttle. The motorcycle slammed directly into the truck and the impact was brutal. The rider, later identified as Chauncey Basham, was thrown to the ground. The truck's driver, Jerry Bohannon, managed to pull over to safety, though he suffered minor injuries to his face and leg. Paramedics rushed to the scene and Basham was taken to Wadley Regional Medical Center with severe injuries. If he had just pulled over, it would have been a citation. Now it's a story that ends with 2 wrecked vehicles, 1 hospital bed, and 1 reminder that running never pays off. This video captures one of those moments where the line between duty and discipline gets razor thin. It shows the Arkansas State Police Office of Professional Standards investigation, which led to the suspension of Sergeant Roy Moomey after a high-speed pursuit involving a motorcycle. A chase that started like any other, lights, sirens, and adrenaline, ended up under internal review. What happened next sparked questions about how far a trooper should go to stop a suspect on 2-wheel and where the line of policy gets crossed.
I'm in my team, but I just pulled up the outward. One coming from the north, one from the south, but they're both several minutes below.
Right at about 64 hours. 64 east, 4 down, flat 11.
64. First, that's not let Alma know.
Sergeant Mooney tried to do things by the book, slowing the rider down, giving him every chance to pull over safely. But the motorcyclist wasn't interested in playing by the rules. He kept pushing, weaving through traffic, determined to get away. That's when the sergeant was preparing to make his move. Little did he know that choice would lead to one of the worst moments of his entire career.
10-1.
Yeah, he's about to try to hit me with his motorcycle. I don't know what.
28. He bags up on the motorcycle. Code 28.
The biker suddenly brake-checked, forcing Sergeant straight onto the back of the motorcycle, and within seconds the bike burst into flames. The suspect managed to leap off and run for it, but his freedom didn't last long. He was caught just a few days later. As for the sergeant, that fiery end to the chase earned him a one-day suspension. But here's where I'm curious. What do you think? Should Sergeant have been suspended at all, or was he just doing what needed to be done? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and this one's bound to spark some debate. A blue sport bike comes flying by with no plate, splitting lanes like he's in Fast and Furious. And get this, the rider, 23-year-old Donovan Cox, wasn't your typical outlaw biker. He actually worked as a legal analyst for the Department of Human Services. Yeah, you heard that right. A guy who studies the law was about to break just about all of it. When troopers spotted the Yamaha, the chase was on.
It's gonna be a blue motorcycle.
Speeds hit 140 miles per hour, traffic was packed, and this guy was slicing through cars like he had a personal vendetta against rush hour. He even passed a deputy on the shoulder, because apparently lanes are optional when you're in full catch me if you can mode. As the pursuit reached the exit, Cox pulled the classic move, cutting across all 4 lanes at the last second. Trooper Cavanis joined the chase from the shoulder, forcing Cox into the grass.
Hey, get on the ground! On the ground, now! On the ground!
The Yamaha crashed, and after a short struggle, the rider was down. Inside his backpack, troopers found a blue pistol and an extra magazine. Morning commute turned into a full-blown felony arrest. Once in custody, Cox was booked without incident. Turns out this wasn't his first brush with reckless driving. The guy already had 12 points on his license. Also, another trooper had been seeing him ride recklessly for 2 days straight before this chase even happened. A green Suzuki flying down highway at 85 in a 55. Not exactly record-breaking, but fast enough to catch attention. And if you've ever wondered what happens when someone tries to outrun the Arkansas State Police, well, this one's a perfect example. As soon as Trooper Weatherly hit the lights, that Suzuki didn't slow down, it took off. We're talking speeds over 140 miles per hour, weaving through traffic like it was a video game.
Take the airport, officer.
Airport, Calgary, take him to airport. Southbound on Bankhead.
Eventually, the suspect, Jonathan Moore, tried to take a curve, but the bike went down, sliding into the tree line, and Moore was launched straight into a briar patch. Troopers pulled him out, checked his injuries, and waited for medics. And turns out Moore didn't even have a valid license, registration, or insurance. So not only did he run from police, he wasn't even legally allowed to ride in the first place. He left the scene with a long list of charges, including fleeing, speeding, reckless driving, no insurance, and more. In Florida, where the sun's shining, traffic never ends, and apparently even a stolen Honda Grom can turn into a full-blown police pursuit. On February 13th, 2025, troopers spotted a blue Grom zipping down the road, a small bike but big attitude, going 50 in a 45. The rider, wearing a ski mask, because nothing screams "I'm innocent" like a ski mask in South Florida, decided to pull a U-turn straight into oncoming traffic, and that was just the start. This guy was riding like he was in a video game, going wrong way down the road, cutting through medians, and bouncing across lanes like a pinball. Troopers kept their cool, calling every move in real time while the rider dodged cars and grass medians like he had 9 lives. The trooper blocked him, and the rider's getaway ended the same way most Grom chases do. The suspect was identified as 33-year-old Francisco Antonio Liscano. When questioned, Liscano admitted he ran because he had weed in his bag. Yeah, just a tiny bit of marijuana residue. So to recap, he had a suspended license, no motorcycle endorsement, and thought he could outrun the Florida Highway Patrol on a minibike. Liscano was charged with grand theft auto, aggravated fleeing, reckless driving, and more.